Welcome back to Game On, where we use sports and athletics to talk about everything related to mental health. Today, we are going to talk about this crossroads that so many teams and franchises inevitably hit at a certain point, and that is the rebuilding phase. So, a team could be struggling, things are not working, and ownership, management have to make this tough decision and say, hey, we got to go back to the drawing board. Unfortunately, some of the teams that I follow are going to be in that process. It seems like the writing's on the wall for the Chicago Cubs. Mr. Ricketts, if you're watching, we can discuss this and we can make a plan together. But the rebuilding, there's so much we can learn from the rebuilding process for a team. Number one, I think, is that it's a really tough decision to make. I mean, we're talking about huge budgets, huge changes, so much transition, people's jobs, people's careers. You have a huge fan base, you have a reputation. It's a very big decision to make. And so I applaud when someone or some leadership team takes the ownership to really acknowledge we need a change. And I think for us, it's also a very, very difficult decision. Sometimes we need to make a change. This is not working. And if I keep on doing this, I'm just sort of repeating this cycle that's really not helping me. So it could be not really taking care of myself or not managing my mental health. It could be a job that we're in. It could be a relationship that we're in. And it takes a certain amount of ownership to really look ourselves in the mirror and say, like, we need to change. And I need to make a significant change. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay to make a change and to sort of refresh and see, like, what do we want here? Now, the second piece when I think of rebuilding is that even after you make that decision, it is super hard to withstand the temptation to make a splash. You have the radio, commentators talking, and the TV, and the fans, and the blogs all talking about what they should do. Everyone has a great idea what they should do. And it's really difficult to resist making a splash. Oh, there's this free agent that's available, so let's grab him. Or let's do this, let's grab her. Whatever it is, whatever franchise. And you really have to resist that, because part of the rebuilding process, one of the essential components of the rebuilding process, is to develop an identity. What are we? Who are we? What do we stand for? What is our mission? I think it's a little funny talking about sports like that, but it is, because that is the bedrock. That's the foundation. What kind of organization as a whole do we want to build? What is our mission? What is our values? And then what's our strategy? So what kind of players, what kind of staff, what kind of coaches do we want to build? Do we want to be aggressive? Do we want to play small ball? Do we want to be offensive minded, defensive minded? Who's going to complement each other? So many puzzle pieces that either mesh or don't mesh, and you have to complement each other. They have to be team players. They have to have a good attitude. There's so many factors, and it's the job of the leadership when they're going through the rebuilding process to stay focused on that. And for us too, is to stay focused on what do we value, what do we stand for, what am I trying to build here, and stay with it, and stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. That is super important. And even if there's something really attractive that comes along the way, oh, this is gonna fast track this, or does this fit within what's good for me? And that takes discipline, no question. And you have to pause and look at it. Does this fit with what I am trying to build? So on a personal level, we have to look at that. On a family level, on a small business level, and then on this huge organizational level of a sports team. And that's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of decisions that are on their shoulders, and it behooves them to really question and be honest and use their team, because they shouldn't make decisions in a bubble. What do we stand for? And be disciplined and stick with what we're trying to build here and not get caught up in the things that are on the side. And I think that's so relatable as we are trying to make changes in our life to improve our quality of life and try to keep focused on what we're trying to build, even if there's something attractive that might come along the way. I'm not saying it's never appropriate to do that, but try to make sure that it fits with what we're trying to build. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support and commenting and sharing, subscribing. That's the only way we really can get to more people. And hopefully this is meaningful to you. Have a wonderful day.